course, it is possible to be both Zionist and anti-Semitic. If Zionism just means giving Jews a place to live in, then the Nazis were Zionist. In fact, Theodor Herzl was even considering Uganda as a place for Jews to go and live in peace and not be persecuted by anti-Semites. So it doesn't have to be in Israel, and other places have been proposed as a homeland for Jews. And if you know a little bit about the history of Germany during the Nazi era, you would know that the Nazis hatched up something called the Madagascar Plan, which was a plan to send their Jews to Madagascar. Of course, that would create a lot of problems later, but anyway, the plan was there. They were going to send their unwanted Jews to Madagascar. Why didn't it happen? Because of the fall of Vichy France. Because when after the Nazis took over France, Vichy was the puppet Nazi regime. They thought, the Nazis thought it was the easiest thing to just plonk the Jews in Madagascar, which was at the time a French possession. But that was not to be. So later there was something called the Havara Transfer Agreement, which was made with the Mufti of Jerusalem. And it is well known that the Mufti of Jerusalem told the Nazis, look, don't send us your old sick Jews. We want Jews of fighting age and childbearing age. We don't want old sick ones who will be a burden on the state. So really, you don't even have to like Jews to give them a homeland. And this was what Ken Livingstone was trying to say when he said, in fact, Ken Livingstone and Benjamin Netanyahu got themselves into trouble for saying, or even just getting into the area of saying that the Nazis were Zionist. Because, obviously, if you want to put the Nazis, if you want to put your Jews somewhere, you need to find a place for them. It stands to reason. But then I suppose it goes against the narrative that, the Jews wanted to exterminate all the Jews. And so they wanted them to shut up. They wanted the people talking about this to shut up and be shamed into shutting up and being called a Nazi. So I guess, it worked up to a point. But this is obviously true, that even if you hated Jews but didn't want to exterminate them, then you would have to find a place to put all your unwanted Jews. And therefore, in a way, the Nazis were Zionists. And so is Allah, if you will refer to chapter 17, verse 104 of the Quran, because it does say that in the end times, Jews who are not already in Israel are to go and live there in a commingled crowd, meaning that there will be Gentiles there. And I think the whole point of that verse is to say Jews are welcome to live in Israel, but only under Sharia. And that's it. It's really not that hard to understand. except that a lot of secular Jews would rather die than live under Sharia. And understanding this mindset is key to understanding the whole problem of Jews not having, of Jews being a rather pitiable people who have no supreme rabbi, they have no supreme leader. They are a leaderless people, which is not to say that the rest of, the West are not also leaderless people. I mean, do Americans feel led by Trump? I suppose some of them do, but not all of them are. I'm sure plenty of them are feeling very betrayed now. What about Europeans? I don't think they feel they're being led by anyone other than Eurotrash leaders who are in the pocket of Washington. So I guess we're mostly a leaderless people, and it is to be pitied, because if you don't have a leader, nothing will be done. Nothing will be done, and you will continue to suffer and moan and whinge with no solution. And even if you have a solution, it won't be implemented because you have no leader capable of the moral authority or the political power to do anything about your problem. So I will end by pointing out that that Zionism is, if you define it as a homeland for Jews, is inescapable, because even the greatest haters of Jews, Muslims, in their holy book says that Jews have a right to live in the Holy Land as long as it's under Sharia. And of course, Israel, as it is currently constituted, is neither holy nor righteous, because gay parades in Tel Aviv is not what God would approve of if he exists. And I will end by repeating that even the Nazis were Zionists, and even Allah is Zionist, and you don't have to like Jews to make the point that however much you hate a group of people, that does not end their right to have a homeland. And a lot of confused anti-Semites just won't accept that Israel is an American colony, and because if they did, then they would do something about it. So this is a narrative for people who question, who don't want America involved in another neocon war on behalf of Israel. I'm saying it's not even the Jews, it's the neocons who put Jews in Israel to fight and die for American imperial interests. And these Jews, they don't even know what they've been made to do. They think it's somehow holy for Jews to live in Israel. But no, actually it's a curse, because I guess if God exists, he's going to zap you for defiling the Holy Land with your gay parades in Tel Aviv. And hello, Jay, did you want to come on? If not, I will end the stream. Rather than wait for a response, I will post a link. Okay, come on for 10 minutes. I've got a list of streams with titles that I feel in the mood to talk about. They've been sitting there for long enough. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Claire. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. How
Good.
have you been?
I've got a mouthful of crisps. Hang on,
A mouthful of biscuits.
Chris. Hang on. Turn the volume. Yeah, I'm just finishing my late lunch and looked at YouTube and saw that you were debating, well, stating that you can be both Zionist and anti-Semitic. It makes sense as well because people want rid of them. So you can be anti-Semitic and want them to F off back to their own homeland. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Well, yes, because there were actually Jews who said, we don't want no Jewish homeland, the ones in America and Europe, because, they were saying, once they give us our homeland, they'll tell us to fuck off back to it. And we don't want to go and live with those Arabs in the Middle East,
Yeah. Just quickly, because I'm going to pick up my doggy in a little while. News. I got scammed for £600 yesterday.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It happened because the scams are the way they do it is so much better, and I am pretty good on this stuff. I'm not at Stephen James's level, but I am one person who has probably avoided all scams. There's an American company called Reverb where you buy and sell musical equipment, and in order to get an account with Reverb, similar to eBay, I guess, you have to verify your bank and the ability to pay and receive funds, and they put you through to a payment verification company, and that's where a fake one jumped in on me, and the money went out to a company in Estonia. So, but the good news was I had a couple of days of rage because I think it happened on Tuesday. The money went out of my bank this morning, but I spoke to Barclays, who looked at it, and within half an hour, they've put the money back in my bank.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but I felt, it sounds dramatic, but I felt violated. I
bet.
Yeah, not good. But some other good news is that because of this war, a lot of people are dumping their money into crypto, and I've got a little bit of money on crypto, and that seems to have gone up a lot in the last 2 or 3 days. So both me and Stephen James are happy bunnies.
Good. Well, so I know it went down recently, but the war has made it go up, you're saying?
Oh, it's plummeted about 40%, 40%, but it's brought back about 10% in the last 2 or 3 days. It might come off again, but it's scary when you see your money drop by 40%. And Stephen's got a lot more than me. I mean, it's gone, and that money, yes, it almost certainly will come back, but until it does, you're like a bit pensive. But no, Claire, I quickly just wanted to ask you about this alleged war. Any thoughts, any feelers on it? Have you heard any interesting topics? So you sent me a couple of links with this guy who was saying that that Iran is not a threat at all to the USA, but even a Democratic politician said they are a threat to Israel, and if they're a threat to Israel, then they're a threat to the USA.
Well, because Israel and America are one and the same thing. Because Israel is a colony of America. That's why Iran calls America Great Satan and Israel Little Satan. A couple, a partnership.
What do you think of it? I mean, to be honest, I haven't really been following or watching it. I kind of be. What do you think about the UK not jumping in?
Well, I mean, it's already cooperating with America on so many fronts. I guess, Keir's just saying, thus far, no further. But, yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it is a British Prime Minister who says, no, we're going to be out of NATO. We don't want anything to do with this anymore. That would be nice. And then I guess then Iran would let all the oil tankers through, going towards Britain, so our oil prices are not so high.
Yeah.
And then the other European countries will think, oh well, I mean, what has America done for us other than make us go to war for their stupid reasons?
What do you think? What do you think will happen with this? It's not really a war. I don't get it. Like, they call it a war, but it's just firing a few select missiles at a select building. It's the same as when these countries can wipe each other out, really. But why don't they just do that? It's like, it's not a proper.
But go nuclear?
Well, why not? I mean, it's not a war. It's just a few. It's like.
Well, I think it's an act of war to lob bombs, at another country. It's an act of war. I mean, I don't know what they call it.
It's an act of war.
I mean,
but we know the war from the First and the Second World War, when you had like if there were American troops and European troops maybe marching into Iran and absolutely taking over it, whilst bombing and whatever, then that's war, and Iran defending themselves. But instead, it's planes and bombs from 3 miles away, bombing a building, and then they're fighting.
You don't consider it to be a war unless it's hand-to-hand fighting with swords and guns?
Not so much swords and hand-to-hand, but I mean,
or an actual invasion. But I think modern warfare is you bomb the crap out of the country you want to bomb, and then you send in troops. After.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
That's how it goes.
You get the public defeated. You stop the electric, the water, the Red Cross going in, and then when they're on their last legs, that's when you go in. But I think with this one, I think America and Israel have got no intention of like taking over Iran and running it or whatever. Similar to what they said about Gaza, I think they blasted the shit out of it to possibly stop them from firing nukes at Israel, and then that's the end of it.
Well, there's no nukes in Gaza. I think they just wanted to clear out the Gazans and maybe send them around the world as cheap labor.
Well, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, why doesn't Russia just sort of blitz Ukraine?
Well, I think maybe okay. I mean, a lot of commentators like Paul Craig Roberts saying, Putin is to blame. They should have just blasted the Ukrainians, immediately, and by this softly approach is just emboldening the West and giving them time to, surround Russia and give them an even harder time later. But I guess if you're in Tehran and you're being bombed, you probably have no trouble thinking that it's war. If you're, parents are with 160 girls in the school that was bombed.
Yeah, I mean, it is war, obviously, but it's like a tit for tat war. When I don't know. Maybe war.
I think I know where you're going with this. You're talking about troops on the ground, and actually Trump has said, we don't want to, invade your country, Iranians. We just want you to get rid of your evil regime. So they want the Iranians to rise up and, no longer be a theocracy.
Well, yeah, then we're going to get terrorist attacks in London, no doubt, from you know, the Iranian lot on the Edgware Road, Marble Arch, that'll kick off, won't it? And then in a year, 2 years, we'll have 500,000 Iranians living in hotels.
But I mean, that's a way. That's a business model of the West. It's like running out of cheap labor, bomb a few more countries and send them over as cheap labor. I mean, this is the imperial business model.
Well, it's working if it is. But Claire, listen, I need to head off. I'm picking my doggy up that I look after. It's quite a nice dog. He's a black Labrador. He's only a year old. Quite naughty. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to walk him on the beach in the seaside, throw the ball into the sea. So I'll send you a picture of Buddy.
Send me a few pictures. Yes, why don't you?
Yeah. All right, Claire. Thank you. Right. I'll speak to you later. Bye, anyone who's listening. Good night.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for dropping by. Bye-bye.